Yo, how we doing? First off, I want to say, by the time this video is posted, I believe maybe we've hit 2,000 subs, which is, oh my gosh, dude, 2,000 people, dude. That is, it may not seem like a lot based off, like, most of the people you watch, especially if you watch, like, LK or, you watch, like, some variety YouTubers, right? It doesn't seem like a huge number. It's big to me. I've been doing YouTube for about 9 months now, so the fact that in less than a year, we've been able to reach 2,000 people is crazy. But anyways, that's just a thank you. Let's get back to what the video is actually about. I want to talk about neutral in GGST. So I made two videos. One talking about offense and one talking about defense. Now I just want to talk about neutral. This one is, I think the offense, the defense one tied into each other a little bit. I'm not sure how much this one will tie into the other ones, but I have some words to talk about with the neutral in this game. Feels like there's a lot, but there's not. I mean, obviously, okay, in this game, the neutral is just there's a lot of ignorant normals in this game, right? You have stuff like this 9-frame far slash, right? You also know to add into like neutral characters that have good neutral usually have orange wall assault as well. Being able to convert your hits is huge. Like I've said before, I think the two things that a character must have to be good in this game is either high damage or really good offense. But I think the next thing that comes with that is, what are their combos? Like how easily can they convert into full combos, full wall break combos? What are their realistic touches? Like stuff like that, right? Like obviously if a character gets like a crazy combo, but it has to be off like a counter 2H, then who cares, dude, right? It's what can you do off your normal hits that the character is consistently getting, especially in the good damage, right? Because a lot of people think, and I'm not one of those people, but a lot of people seem to think Happy Chaos is like mid or like not that great. But he's literally a character made to do everything. He can just hit you off anything and take you from the wall without even burning a super, right? But due to the damage, people are like, oh, well, characters do more damage off normal touches. So it's not necessarily converting into wall break, more just converting into a good situation and good damage. People don't care too much about the situation afterwards, which I think we're sleeping on. For example, Happy Chaos takes you through the wall. Even if the damage isn't crazy, he recycles his resources and has a way to safely meet you, whether it's using his 10-frame safe jump, or if you can't safe jump because the character has a 9-frame reversal, then you can just use the gun as a tool for you to meaty, right? But characters like Sin, for example, who have a really bad situation post-wall break, mostly because they have to spend all their resources to even get the wall break. So you use your stamina, you can't recycle, but you just did a good load of damage, so it's seen as very strong, and which is also one of the reasons why Sin is rated usually higher than Happy Chaos considered the most. But I mean, I've been falling for the mind control. I don't believe that in the slightest. Anyways, back to the video. I think the converting your hits and having Orange Wild Assault is huge. Obviously, Orange Wild Assault is something we got with the start of Season 3. Being able to do things like this, right? Huge. Most characters can't do this. Like Venom can't do that, for example. He's Blue Wall Assault. Doesn't combo. Even then, it's without using Wall Assault, right? You don't always want to use your Wall Assault. It's your burst. Burst is so important. The damage in this game is through the roof. You can't afford to just be spinning your burst, right? If you every time you go on pressure, you use Wall Assault, right? You're not playing the game right. You can't just burn your resource. You need it. What you inflict to someone, they can easily just do it back to you in a 2 PRC. So you have to be wary of how you use your resources. So being able to go off your normal hits, right? What is your character's game plan and how can you convert? So how easy is it to go into your character's game plan? How strong is that character's game plan? What is the damage, right? For example, one of the reasons why Venom is bad is because his zoning is not great. It's actually pretty poor, in my opinion. So when you do stuff like this, so when your main convert off max range far slash is this, it's not great. It's not great at all. Especially like, I guess this is pretty good since I'm full screen. But compared to stuff like this, right, and then go into card or, this, because obviously this doesn't, I mean, that was fully charged, that was a combo. This is your combo to go into, for example. And I'm just using Venom as a for example, right? That doesn't combo. But Johnny, right, more damage, better situation, right? It's just all around better. You know, having longer normals, but that don't convert into, you know, actual rewarding situations is just poor. Ram has the same far slash as Venom, but she takes you through the wall off any hit meterlessly, right? Whereas, you know, Venom, he like needs it needs to be counter hit, it needs to be that, right? There's certain like situations that need circumstances that need to pop up, and it's just like most characters don't have to deal with that, right? So yes, if Venom, and I'm just using an example, but a Venom, for example, a character that has well thought out tools, just, you know, but is lacking in conversions and damage, consistent hits turning into good damage, stuff like that, then it should show you how punishing not having those tools are. I mean, just the fact that people think Happy Chaos is not that great because of reasons like that should show you how important it is and how scrappy the neutral is. You know, ignorant button, good damage is what is. I mean, that is pretty much the meta of this game, right? You know, there's characters though that don't really have great neutral, but their damage is really, really good. Characters like Sin, for example, right? His neutral is not great, but if he hits you with far slash, he has some of the highest like combo potential in the game, right? He just takes you through the wall, essentially, depending how much meter he has and stuff like that. So yeah, the neutral is just very, I mean, you just convert off everything, right? It feels like, before it felt like there were only some characters that convert off everything. Now it feels like every character can just kind of just convert off everything. Like even mixed characters, for example, like characters like Elfeld feel like they can just take you to the wall with any hit, right? It's kind of like the game feels so less unique ever since Wall of Soul was added that characters just do whatever and just wall break, you know? But yeah, that is definitely something I think is kind of going back. That is definitely something I think is worth talking about. I'm curious to hear, even in the comments, like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that good neutral on a character means just high return off your hit? Right, because the threat of actually scrapping with the character neutral, like risk reward, because I mean that's kind of what it feels like. Like the risk reward is I mean this whole game is just, it feels like you're RPSing on every single little decision. Like it's all around. I mean this game is so centered around it, right? Where if your character can't compete at it, and guiltier in general, it just feels like you get blown up and it just feels really bad to play. So yeah, I think I definitely think it's worth talking about. Do you guys think that high return equals really, really good neutral, or do you think like just the specific normal interactions and whatnot are what makes a character have good neutral? Because I think there's two ways to look at it. I think the realistic answer is characters with good tools in neutral, consistent neutral plans, right? I think resource characters, for example, while they can have strong neutral, you got to think about what it looks like when they're lower on resources. Can they keep up the same game plan, right? Is it something that characters can do consistently, is what I'm trying to say. And overall, that lowers their neutral. So like, for example, Asuka, right? Characters that their life is their resource, right? Characters like Sin, where everything they do depends on how much bar they have, or everything he does, depends on how much bar he has, right? You know, characters like that. Yeah, and then like I said before, if you have Red Wild Assault, then it automatically tops it out. Again, I don't like using Wild Assault unless it's really, like, I need it to break the wall, or like I need it to use in my pressure because, like, for whatever reason, to like maybe get a kill. But, you know, if your character is just solely dependent on it, then it's probably not for the best. Like, for example, I think Kai, for example, is so dependent on Red Wild Assault. So a lot of times his neutral it's not as consistent as I think it should be. Like, or I guess as it used to be. You know, Red Wall Assault is just it's just so good. It's so broken. I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts. Sorry, I kind of just rambled on. I kind of lost track of my thoughts. But I'm curious to hear what everyone has to say. I'm definitely looking forward to a discussion. What do you guys think about the neutral in this game? Do you guys think it's fine? Do you think it's a little too scrappy? You know, I know we all want the damage toned down a little more, but we gotta just work with what we have. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you everybody for watching, and until the next time, peace.